All right, Andrew, I'm coming right back to you. Ja Morant back in the fold. He's saying all the right things. You putting a mic in front of him. He's talking about how he's working on himself. J Money, he's working on him. He's working on the human, the man level, and that's going to translate to the court. Andrew's not buying it. He's looking at the Pelicans here in Ja Morant's first game back. Tell me why.
I mean, kind of the way Jay's looking at the first half, I like the full game kind of for depth purposes, right? The Pelicans are one of the deeper teams in the league. They're over the past 10 games, they're plus 5.6 net rating for their bench players. The Grizzlies are pretty much a mirror opposite of that, minus 5.7. But what kind of clued me in was Ja returning. Like, I just don't. It doesn't bother me that Ja's coming back. I think, I don't know if he's going to be a changed man. I don't know. Look, he came back, said he was changed, and then, posted a video like a week later. So, but either way, basketball wise, it always takes a little time to kind of readjust with new guys in the mix. Not to mention the Grizzlies are on the road, which is a spot that they've struggled in the past. The Pelicans being at home, they're pretty much dominant at home. I mean, they're 10-3 against the spread. I kind of look to these spots where you have a guy coming back from a long absence. It's a little rusty, or, the other guys aren't used to playing with him. A similar spot is like when a star is out for the first time, right? The books tend to over adjust. You get guys coming back in, but in this case, I just like that we're getting a really deep Pels team against a pretty thin Grizzlies team.
Brian, for all the flack that we hear and negativity surrounding Zion, it seems like on a weekly basis, when he plays really well, that's what we expect. When he plays bad, he's fat, out of shape, and not concentrated. But regardless of that, in their last 10, they're 7-3. They continue to climb up the Western Conference standings. They're only a game and a half out of second place. What do you think about this spot with Ja returning?
I mean, in terms of frustrating teams, the Pelicans are also right up there for me because I love their depth. I think if everything's clicking, if guys are healthy, they can compete with almost anybody in the Western Conference. But we haven't seen it consistently enough. Like, they're a team, they can beat, one of the premier teams in the league one night and then just flop around against a middling team on the next. And I just want to see them put it all together. I like this bet. Pelicans are really good, really deep. I think with Memphis, as somebody who has Ja Morant on their fantasy team, I'm very excited about his return. One of his fantasy teams. But I think with Memphis, it will take some time to adjust. And in terms of the book sort of overrating a team or, when they're having a player come back, we just kind of saw this tonight with the Heat and the Timberwolves, where the spread was really around Timberwolves -1, 1.5. And of course, always bet against the Heat in the fourth quarter, did that. And the Timberwolves were losing after 3 quarters and ended up winning that game by 4. So they won and covered. And that was with Miami bringing back Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo in the same night. So I think it could be a similar deal here where maybe it's closer than you expect for a while, but ultimately New Orleans could pull away. I think Memphis should be better with Ja Morant over the long haul of this season, but I don't think welcoming him back against the Pelicans is going to be easy at all for their prospects in terms of winning the game.
Yeah, Jay, when you talk about teams like the Philadelphia 76ers and we start pulling up last 10 offensive rating, net rating, all the numbers are through the roof because it seems like the only teams they play are the Wizards and the Pistons. And I swear to God, every time I look up, the Philadelphia 76ers are playing the Hawks, the Pistons, or the Wizards. That's the only teams they play. And then when they play somebody that are solid, they end up having a problem. Like outside of Joel Embiid going crazy, 30 plus in 12 straight games, it seems like they're not playing anybody all the time, right? But then when you go look at New Orleans, they're beating up on the bad teams. They just got done beating up on the Spurs, Hornets, and Wizards. But if you go back 4 games, they beat the Timberwolves. Then you take out the absolute dud. Me and Jay Money were in Vegas for the in-season tournament. Zion and those guys got blown out. You could just throw that game out, but they have a quality win against the Kings. They have a quality win against those 76ers. They caught the Clippers before they started to roll. How do you feel about this Pelicans play -6.5 and just them overall as a squad?
Me personally, I think it's a tough game. Obviously, the Pelicans are a much better team here. I do have it in the back of my mind that I know that the Grizzlies they're gonna be ready to turn up now. They finally got their guy back. I do agree that he's gonna be rusty. This team is on a back-to-back as well, which they kind of punted the game tonight versus the Thunder. But I'm not sure, man, because the Grizzlies have been so bad so far this year. I do think that there's going to be a little bit more juice, a little bit more pep in their step for them to at least try to make a playoff run. So it's a tough game for me. I could see it going either way. I'd possibly look towards Zion to continue to dominate as well. With everybody talking about him, this guy, even though he's a little overweight, this guy is still a superstar player in this league. And as long as he's just one of those type of players that is like, okay, you guys want to talk? Let me go out here and ball. So this is a game that I think is really good to look at some props. Figuring out a side here, I'm gonna pass on looking towards the side here.
Jay, any thoughts on Morant? What you're expecting on him with his first game back? They have lost 5 in a row, 6 of 7. Any thoughts on him coming back and what you expect from him? I'll be honest, to me, I feel like he's about to walk on the court and it's going to look like he never left. I think he's just really looking forward to getting back. And his style of play isn't, I guess everyone has to get accustomed and back in game shape, but I don't think he's going to struggle too much, especially because they are in dire need of a guy like him to just take the reins and kind of lead them. Any thoughts on him coming back first game?
Well, just like Zion, John Morant is an absolute dog. He hears all the talk. He hears everybody talking about him. Everybody having something to say. Me personally, I think he's going to come back and ball out. That's why I'm a little hesitant to take the Pelicans here at the house. I love the Pelicans. I love their depth. I love their defense as well. But some just tells me that the Grizzlies try their best to come to play here, and I think that's mainly around Ja. So I wouldn't talk you off looking at some John Morant props. Like I say, he's heard all the noise, and now he's ready to come and shut everybody up.
Yeah, it's a really interesting spot. He's going to get tons of looks. He's going to have the rock in his hand a bunch here coming in to this first game back. Andrew, any thoughts before I go to Brian on his prop with everybody's input on the Pels -6.5?
Well, I did want to mention weigh in about the Zion side of that prop. So the Pels have been playing some more small ball lately, which just gives, and then they've been giving Zion the ball. So he can kind of just go ISO against his defender now. He's going to be going up probably against Jaren Jackson Jr., reigning defensive player of the year. But Triple J is more of a, rim protector, kind of like off-ball guy, whereas he's not like an on-ball defender, really. So I think that Zion points prop could be a good look if they kind of let Zion cook, go ISO against some of the Grizzlies guys.
Last thought on this game. I am a little shocked for Bane and Triple J to play as many games as they've had. I thought they'd be in a little bit of a better spot than they are. I understand Brandon Clark is gone. I understand Adams is out. I get it. Kennard is out. I get it. They don't have a small forward. I understand. But I thought they would be able to hang on a little bit better for Ja to get back. We'll see how this starts to shake for John Morant now being back in the fold.